match up with them?
Well, you know, it's going to be a tough matchup. They have great size, great length that we definitely have to be aware of all the time. But we also, you know, I think our style of play, we need to get the game moving up and down. I know they want to play fast as well and get moving, so it should be a very entertaining game. But I think the biggest thing, we got to do a great job on the glass, not let them have second shots. We got to do a really, really good job in transition defense. Got to get back and not give them any easy ones. And, you know, that's something we've been working on and getting better and better at. But, you know, that's a huge deal for us in this game. We can't give these guys easy baskets.
We've spent all season, you know, talking about VCU and what the program is now under your tutelage. And, I mean, we've also brought up Shaka coming back. But now that the game is finally here, Shaka's coming back to the Siegel Center. How exciting is it for you to have him back here and for this program to have one of their greats come back to this building?
Well, it's special because I know our fans will really appreciate him being back and welcome him until the ball goes up, and that's how it should be, because it's about the two teams. It's not about the two coaches. But we owe him great appreciation and respect, and we'll do that in a classy way because he's a special person, and he did some awesome things here at VCU, and he always put the players and the school in front of himself, and that's what you want. And when he was here, there was a lot of great things that occurred because of his leadership. And I'm not sitting here today if it wasn't for Coach Smart. I know that, and I'm so appreciative, and he's a great friend because of that. And but when the game goes up, we're going to go at it for 40 minutes because that's what it's supposed to be. It's about two teams, not people.
Are you a guy who struggles with coaching against a friend?
Yes, but I just don't take things personal. We're going to root for each other all the time, except for these 40 minutes. That's how I look at it. And you know, somebody asked me how I felt. I said it's like going to play pickup against your brother. You want to beat him. When it's over with, you're going to hang out, and you got each other's back. That's how I look at it. But for those 40 minutes, I owe it to our team to make sure we're putting our best foot forward and try to win the game, without a doubt.
Does the fast pace you guys want to play with, that they play with, does that help minimize the size difference for them?
I hope so. You know, we have pretty good size too, and maybe we don't have the length of some of their guys that they have, 1 through 5. But we have pretty good size. We have decent athleticism. We have some guys that can really go after the ball. We just got to continue to do it at a high level and get better and better at it. So it is concerning. You know, when Bamba's in there and you try to make a move on him, it's different than all the guys we've played against. You got to be aware of it. Doesn't mean you don't go after him and don't be aggressive, but you just got to have great awareness. And if we do that and we play through each other, that sort of negates some of that at times.
Mike, do you remember the phone call or the meeting that you had with Shaka when he offered you the job? And how many times did you talk to him before that? And what kind of a leap of faith was it?
Well, we ran into each other a lot on the road recruiting. You know, he was really good friends with Sean McAloon, who was at Benedictine, of course. Sean worked for me and played for me at Randolph-Macon. So I got to know Shaka through Sean, but just being on the road, running into him and all that stuff, and we knew of each other and definitely conversed and all that. And you know, I was at Randolph-Macon for 10 years, and I had the bug to move up the ladder and maybe try Division I. But you know, the number one thing to me was who I would go work for, and what type of people I wanted to be around. And when Shaka got the job here, it was definitely something of interest. But you just never know. Most coaches have their people they want and all that stuff. And I think he spoke with Kevin Eastman. He was talking to Kevin Eastman, and Kevin Eastman brought my name up to him, and that's where it all started. And then, you know, I grew up a Villanova fan my whole life, and Villanova's in the Final Four in Detroit. And I didn't see 1 second of that game because I was eating dinner with Shaka, interviewing with him. And then the next day he called, and we talked a little bit more, and I accepted the position. So, I mean, look, I'm here because he took a chance on me, and not only am I so fortunate to be here because of his decision to bring me on staff, I also gained a great friend in all that, which is really cool.
Coach, a lot of coaches talk about how, you know, they pick up things from different people and then develop their own style individually as well. What are some things that you, if any, that you, stylistic or otherwise, that you might have picked up from Shaka during your time with him and working with him closely?
Well, the pressing stuff for sure. If you went basketball, talk the X's and O's. We pressed at Randolph-Macon when I played in high school. We pressed the whole time and all that. So I had that, but at this level and the way we went about it, you know, I really enjoyed all of that. And said, man, that'd be a fun way to coach your team. And I had a blast as an assistant, and it's something I wanted to do at Rice and, of course, here. So that for sure. You know, I always thought I had great relationships with our players on and off the court at Randolph-Macon. When I got here, that was elevated. I think one of Shaka's greatest gifts is getting these guys to understand what they're capable of doing on and off the court as people and as players. And I just said, hey, that's something, you know, no matter what, we got to continue in our programs wherever we're at. I thought that was something special he has. And then, you know, he's a meticulous thinker. He doesn't make rash decisions. I think that's one reason why he can make changes on the fly, because he thinks it through, and then when it goes with it, he's committed to it and all that stuff. And that was always something I really admired all the time.
You mentioned last month about how you and Shaka talked about X and O's a little bit. You guys talked about this matchup at all? You know, what it's going to be like next?
Yeah, we talked the other day, and just, you know, talked about our teams and you know, what he was going through, what we were going through, and all that stuff. And then, you know, we talked about this is a 40-minute game, and we're going to go after it, and it is what it is, and we're not ruining a friendship over this. We're going to go at it, and but we're not, you know, we're going to make sure we handle it with class and respect, without a doubt. And I know he will, and I know I will.
That he is a friend, and given all the hoopla that is sort of surrounded this game, you'd be glad to get it behind you?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, to me, it's just the next game. It's the next game. It's the next game on our schedule. Our schedule's tough enough already. To add all this hoopla, to take your mind off what's most important. Most important thing for our staff is to get our team prepared to play against Texas tomorrow night. Paul, that's sort of my whole approach. And the hoopla is great for the fans and the environment, the atmosphere of the game. For the coaches, we're locked in on finding a way to see if we can pull this out.
Guys on the roster, you know, we're under Coach Smart, and they'll have a chance to see him again. I know they saw him in the NCAA tournament, but in this scenario, you know, playing against them, do they have more excitement for this game? Is anything different for guys like Justin Tillman, Johnny Williams?
Well, you know, we only played, think about it, 48 hours ago. So we had a good practice yesterday. We're trying to get ready for the next one. You know, when you're 18 and 22, you go with the flow, I think, a lot of times, and these guys will be excited because it's another great game in the Siegel Center. The friendships and all that stuff, they last forever. So, you know, they'll be there. There'll be some great hugs with Johnny and Justin and some of the guys on Coach's staff and Coach. That's great. That's a great thing. It's all positive. It's not a negative. It's all a positive, and they'll handle it the right way. But when the ball goes up, it's still competing and playing the game you love.
What's been the biggest difference between your first and second half defense, especially over the last couple of games? Do you have magic words at halftime, or I know you'd rather have the defense for the whole game, but
to be honest with you, we've been really dissecting that and trying to figure that out. I just think being more locked in, the word I've been using a lot around here is awareness, just having greater awareness of being on the court. I hate to say getting in the flow of the game. I don't know if that's true or not, but you would hear that. If I knew, man, we wouldn't have this problem in the first half. We're working on it. Also, familiarity with defending some actions and stuff like that. I thought early in the first half against Old Dominion, we lost guys on some of the actions. As the game goes on, you get a little more familiar, ready for it. You get a couple tendencies and greater awareness. So we just got to continue to get better. We got to get smarter. I think that's the biggest thing. We got to get smarter, and we don't want a first half to get us smarter. We need to get smarter and be more aware earlier in the game.
Did you have a clause in your contract at Rice that said if you left, you had to come back and play at home and home?
With Rice? No.
What was your primary role on Shaka's staff?
Well, when when I first got there with Shaka, it was offense, and Mike Jones did the defense. And then when Mike left for Radford, I moved over to defense because Jamie and Christian came in, and Coach and I talked about it would be great for Jamie to spend more time with Coach because Coach really did a lot with the offense. It would get him off to a great start, familiarity with how we do things and all that, spending more time with him than an assistant. So we did a little bit of both. I had the point guards. They were my group that I put under my arm. And then I honestly, the one thing that I did when I was assistant, I made sure is whatever Shaka wanted me to do, I was going to do. The only thing I asked him that I didn't really want to do was scheduling, because that's a pain in the butt, and coaches lie through their teeth about scheduling all the time, and I wouldn't be good dealing with that. So that was the only thing I said. I'll do it if you want me to do it, but I'd rather not do scheduling. Give me everything else. Say, hey, if we had to pass out lunches or clean the floors, I have no problem doing it. I did it at Randolph-Macon every year, and so it was whatever. And a lot of times it was grabbing guys to shoot on the side, break down shots, watch a lot of tape with guys. The one thing about working for Coach Smart is you want to be involved in everything, because you just keep learning more all the time. And I hope our staff's like that. But, we don't have you're only allowed to do this, you're only allowed to do that. You be involved in everything we do. So, but whatever he told me to do, we did it. We all shared the scouting reports, and I did the offense early, and then I did the defense later in my 5 years.
Looking back, what's your favorite memory from your time as assistant under Shaka?
Just had fun, man. We had a lot of fun, and now the winning part and success always helps. But I remember we lost to Drexel, and it was an awful bus ride home. And the next morning we got in there and we looked at each other like, what are we going to do? We're not canceling the season. Let's go. And it was fun. Now, not that we lost the night before. It was like that was one of my favorite memories. Like, hey, what's next? What's next? We didn't make excuses. That was what I loved about working for him. We didn't make excuses. It is what it is. How are we going to make it better? And it was always about the players. And as much as the success we had, and Coach became, the media really loved to report about him, and all over the country, he kept it about the players and the team, and I thought that made it a lot of fun, without a doubt.
Is this the most athletic team that you will have played thus far this year, and or are they close to it at least?
Yeah, no, I think so. I definitely think the most athletic and the longest. Yeah, I would think so.
Are there specific challenges that they present that you haven't quite seen yet? And you only have, like you said, 48 hours to kind of turn around after a big rivalry game and get ready for a team that presents maybe some individual differences.
Well, I think just like any team, and we got to make sure we limit no live ball turnovers. When I mean that, throw it to the other team, they go down and score without any defense. We got to make sure we limit that. And at times when we do limit that, we're pretty good. At times it really hurts us. Transition defense, we got to make sure we get back and keep these athletic guards in front of us and make them take tough shots. And then we got to really rebound. You don't give an athletic team and guys that can find ways to score multiple possessions. I think that's what really helped us Saturday, was we did a great job rebounding against Old Dominion, limit their opportunities to score. So I think that's huge.
Do they play the way he played here? Do they press 94 feet and all that stuff?
Yeah, I mean they got down to Gonzaga late in the PK 80 tournament, and they started pressing like crazy, and they got right back into it and put it in overtime. So they are starting to press more and play faster like his teams here, because he's starting to get his guys and the guys that he wants to play that way. So yeah, I mean they're very capable of getting it up and down. Their press has really helped them throughout this year when they needed it. Yep.
You like that you've got home and home in Texas, home and home, I guess, with LSU, even though it's people you've coached with, and it adds a layer of scrutiny or hoopla or whatever to those games?
Yeah, take the personal attachment aside. I mean, to have Texas and the Siegel Center, in the future we'll have LSU, UVA, I remember having Oklahoma and Alabama. That's great. It's great for VCU. It's great for college basketball. The Power 5 teams don't go on the road like they used to. They don't have to. They don't want to. So to have an opportunity to have some of those teams in here is great. The personal part of it, you just got to deal with that for 40 minutes. But you move that aside and play the game. I think it's great for all of us.
Putting more pressure on you?
Not more than I put on myself. No. I mean, hey, it's the opportunity you want as a coach and as players to play teams like that, without a doubt. So no, man. The pressure part is I put pressure on myself to make sure our guys are prepared and put them in positions. I've never been one to feel pressure of who we play. I hope we play everybody. I don't know, it's probably naive, but that's how I feel.
Will Ivy and Malik be out again? Will they be back?
If you ask, we're hoping they're going to move around a little bit today, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure, and the truth is, you know as much as I know right now. They did a good job rehabbing this morning, and we'll move them around a little bit today and see. We need them, and I hope so. But like I said before, we're not jeopardizing the long term for just trying to get through a 40-minute game tomorrow. We got to make sure these guys are right. They're too important to us to have nagging, lingering injury for the whole season.
Are you characterizing them as day-to-day, week-to-week, or just what?
Well, I said that last week, day-to-day, which meant day-to-day, and they'll be ready. And here we are a week later, and they're not ready. So, yeah, day-to-day, week-to-week, moment-to-moment. I just, IV felt good the other day. Then he was moving around, and he didn't. And so we put him back on the shelf for a little bit. Malik's swelling, he had a pretty good sprain. His swelling has gone down each day. It looked pretty good yesterday. The trainer told us he had a good rehab this morning, so he's feeling better. To what extent?
Well, as you mentioned Saturday, a high ankle sprain is just tough. It takes a long time to recover from one of those.
Yeah, see, the thing with a high ankle sprain, and I've had them, is the swelling goes down, the joint is fine, you could move, but the pain is in the bone where it's weight bearing, and you're just not comfortable. And if you step the wrong way, or you push off the wrong way, you get shooting pains. It's like having a bone bruise, and those two parts of your bone keep hitting, and it's just very, very painful. And as that pain subsides a little, you can play through some of that, but if it's a high level, it's just really tough. As for Malik, it's just, once you get the swelling down, that's when you can start doing more rehab and more moving and all that. We're getting closer to that, but I'm not sure we're there yet. So, hopefully they're going to move around today, and we'll see. But we just, I'm going to say no, they're not going to be ready. But if you see them in uniform, I don't want you to say a coach is a liar, because I'm not. So.
No, we wouldn't think that. We would think it would be a miracle cure, though, because a sprained ankle is tough in a game where you're constantly cutting, pivoting.
Exactly. And, honestly, with sprained ankles, sometimes the swelling moves to a different part of the area where you can play with some swelling. Sometimes it stays right in the joint, and that's what we're dealing with Malik with a high ankle sprain. It's just, it's very painful until that bruise subsides a little bit. So that's where we're at. But they had good days yesterday, rehab, and they both were moving around. They felt good. They just haven't practiced. And, I want them back today, but I also know that, we can't make this, we can't make it a long-term, injury that we're dealing with all year long, because then we're cheating these guys.
Their size and depth, I think is the mentality all the time anyway, but their size and depth and our possible shorter bench, it's kind of an all hands on deck kind of mentality.
Yeah, it's our Army. Oh, that's what we keep talking about. We have an Army, and it is what it is. And I could sit up here for 20 minutes and complain about it and talk about it, make excuses. That doesn't help us tomorrow tip off. And I'm not doing that. We're not doing that. Hey, step up, next guy up. And Xavier Jackson is getting the opportunity of a lifetime as a college basketball player. He played 27 minutes the other day. I thought he gave us great minutes, great defense on a very good player that he guarded. and now he's a little more ready for tomorrow. And Mikael Sims, his role, the freshman big guys, their roles have changed because of this. And so next man up, no excuses, find a way. That's just how it's always going to be anyway. And I'm proud of it. We've got the last one. Now we got to move all our focus on to a great practice today and being ready to play Texas tomorrow. But our Army's plenty enough to find a way.
I know you plan to be here for ages. Should Villanova open, should Notre Dame open, should whatever open, and you're there, are you coming back to play home and home at VCU?
It's not going to happen. I'm going to stay at VCU. So I'm a VCU Ram, and those games like that, people. I mean, we should play more of them. I mean, like I watched the other day while I was watching tape. Villanova and St. Joe's played, the old at St. Joe's. Back in the day, Coach Massimino he stopped playing those games. That's the tradition of both schools for a long, long time. And because of power conferences and creative scheduling, you lose that part of college basketball and college sports and the environment, the atmosphere. I'm totally against that. I think these games should be played like this all the time, and regional games. I mean, come on, I think that's the fun of it. But when people get involved for different reasons and things that are outside of the game itself, we lose them. But I think this is a great game for everybody. But the other thing, too, is to come to the Siegel Center to play like UVA did and now Texas, they're going to get something out of it no matter what, because they may not play a conference road game in an environment like this. So wherever they go, they're gonna be more prepared to win on the road in their conference, and I think that's a big deal. So I think those Power 5 teams should play some games like that, because it's only going to help them in the future.
I was curious, how is Marcus Evans recovering from that Achilles surgery?
Immaculate recovery. The guy has some special DNA. He has not been cleared to do live in practice, but he's doing great. He's doing great. He's moving around great. He's getting some great workouts in. He's gained some muscle. So he's great. Yeah, we need to do a little study on his body, because he's recovered from Achilles. I mean, you can't even tell. It's pretty great. So he probably could start practicing live now. But the January is the date. January, where he'll probably be let loose and be ready to go. But his toes are on the sideline, wanting to get into practice now. We got to keep pushing him off. He's doing very well.
No, you haven't dove into Seton Hall yet, but you just talk about the significance of that tournament. What's kind of going on with that game?
Yeah, it's great. It's great to honor people that have lost their lives in crazy stuff in our world, especially in present day, and to honor people and to give back, and we could be a part of that. Is special. To play up in that area, in the New York area, New Jersey area is great, because we'll recruit really hard in that area. To play a team like Seton Hall, who's had one of their best teams in many, many years, a top 25 team on their floor, is going to be a huge event for us, a huge challenge. But we're excited. That's going to be a lot of fun. So it's a great road trip that we got to be prepared for sure. Thanks, guys. Okay.